Hello, this is H.J. Armstrong, citizen, scholar, saint. Currently, I am working on a book project laying out the bull queer theory of history. It will be a revolution in our understanding of American history, incorporating all of the revelations of Q into our traditional understanding of the American past. I am applying my knowledge of America's secret archives and my Christian gnosis to this project, which I hope to complete in time for the 2024 presidential election. Today, I am taking a break from that endeavor to work on a humbler project. I will apply my special skills to the realm of true crime in order to look at a true crime case involving another prominent internet personality and the disappearance of his girlfriend. For the past few years, white nationalist Jean-Francois Gariepy has streamed on YouTube and other platforms alongside of his girlfriend Alora, better known as Mama JF. This past June, Mama JF went missing. Currently, the Canadian Mounties are investigating her disappearance. The scuttlebutt around the web is that JF killed his longtime girlfriend. However, that is an ignorant assessment, and in this video, I will demonstrate that to be the case. I will prove that JF is actually highly unlikely as a suspect and that in fact, his story as stated is almost certainly the real story. First, I propose that we carefully consider Mr. Gariepy's sexual orientation. On the surface, he is a heterosexual. Indeed, much of his negative reputation owes to his purported improprieties with women. However, if you look deeper, you will notice a pattern which indicates that his true feelings are far different. At no point has Gariepy explained what he finds attractive about a woman or why he thinks that way. Given how much he talks about sexuality and reproduction, this is a very strange omission. His cold, clinical talk about insemination comes across as detached and disinterested, the way that someone might talk about the physical features of a box or a shoe. His obsession with insemination and seemingly non-existent interest in sex for the sake of sex indicates that he lacks a physical attraction to women. We can also observe that he is always awkward when he is on camera or on screen with women. He looks like he is actively acting and does not quite know how a heterosexual should behave. With Mama JF, he acts like a paternal figure whereas she is clearly smitten with him, for reasons that I cannot fathom. She has waxed on about how great he is, but Gariepy never reciprocated, preferring to bask in the praise. Gariepy has also claimed on multiple occasions to have other roommates who are programmers. We have never seen or heard them. If they exist, they are almost certainly male given the complete and utter domination of that field by men. All of this leads to the inescapable conclusion that Gariepy is a homosexual. He keeps Mama JF and other women around to make white babies. Mama JF is also a useful beard. Gariepy is aware that the right wing is typically anti-gay and would not accept his true self. The upshot of all of this for the larger question of his guilt is that he is being accused of committing a crime of passion. There can be no crime of passion without passion. Jean-Francois Gariepy has at no point in his life demonstrated any sexual passion for women, only a reproductive drive which seems mechanical and forced. Just like any other gay man, Gariepy would not murder a woman in a fit of passion since women mean nothing to him and do not cause him to react emotionally. The second major factor which works against JF being responsible for murdering or otherwise doing violence to Mama JF is the contrast in physical abilities between the two. Simply put, it beggars belief to claim that JF would have any meaningful chance in a fight against the physically superior Mama JF. Mama JF is a tall, fit, lanky woman. She is known to stand at 5 feet, 10 inches tall, which is about the average height for a man. She weighs around 150 pounds, so she is slim, but we know from her infamous nude bike video that she is in good shape. Mama JF can handle the cold and she has a good deal of endurance. We also know from watching her in videos that she moves swiftly and smoothly and that she has an abundance of energy. By contrast, Gariepy is a substandard male if we are being as polite as possible. Looking at various images of him with other people, it is very clear that he is short. Notice that he was eager to be a co-host to an Asian woman back when he had an Epstein-funded science show. This is because Asian women are one of the few demographics of people who are smaller than JF. He has also stated that he would allow Asian women into his white ethnostate. This is, again, to throw off the average height stats and make him feel better about himself. There has never been a time when Gariepy provided images or video of himself standing next to Mama JF because he did not want a dwarfed by his consort. Mr. Gariepy is 5 foot, 4 inches tall or thereabouts, if my estimate is correct. Gariepy is also not a fit or athletic man. In addition to being vertically challenged, he is doughier than a Chicago-style pizza. This has always been true, but it is becoming worse now that he is nearing 40. With his hairline in retreat and waistline advancing in all directions, he is increasingly looking like Danny DeVito. He is not active. Gariepy rarely if ever leaves his home. When we see him move on camera, he is stiff and slow, looking like a 60-year-old man with arthritis. If he were to try to murder Mama JF, he would not be strong enough to take her out with much ease. In a physical fight, say a cage fight, Mama JF would be the odds-on favorite for defeating Gariepy as she is stronger, has more reach, and vastly more stamina. It has been suggested that he may have shot her, but shooting people in the leg to get a kill is not terribly effective and might cause a physically superior person to attack. From a sheer physicality standpoint, JF Gariepy is a ridiculous candidate as a murderer unless the victim is a cheap bottle of Moscato from Walmart. Next, let us consider JF Gariepy's politics and why his beliefs actually make him highly unlikely to be a murderer of any kind, much less a domestic killer. Gariepy is a white nationalist and this has drawn some negative attention from true crime investigators. He wants to build a white ethnostate somewhere in North America. The idea of an ethnostate is that it will be peaceful due to the harmony between people who have no differences to fight over. Gariepy's ideal society is not one which would contain violence. His views are also libertarian in general, and libertarians are for free will. Gariepy has been very consistent about how he believes that people should be free to behave however they choose. While he has doubts about the wisdom of allowing complete freedom to women, he ultimately values freedom more than his feelings because he is a logical person. Any seemingly misogynistic attitudes that he has come from his homosexuality. For Jean-Francois Gariepy, only men and their ambitions matter because only men are sexually appealing. He knows that as a substandard male, his own physical safety is enhanced by not calling for a society where physical force against women is allowed since that would make fights between men more common. Another factor is that Gariepy is wealthy due to his crypto reserves, and he also has an advanced degree. Both of those things make him statistically unlikely to commit a crime, especially a violent crime. Lastly, I would like to talk about his French-Canadian heritage. Gariepy is culturally Catholic, which means that he was trained to be passive-aggressive rather than actively violent. Canadians as a whole are averse to violence. The French are famously awful fighters and Gariepy clearly did not inherit the high-strung temperament of the French, which means that he most likely has rarely if ever demonstrated his subpar fighting skills. Side note, French Canadians should not be white supremacists. There may be plenty of white people with extraordinary characteristics, but the French Canadians are not one of those groups. They sound stupid when they talk since they speak with awful accents in both French and English. Mama JF is very typical of what French Canadians sound like and their usual level of cultural attainment. I don't want to disparage the lady in this video, but we need to keep it real about the people group she hails from. Also, if Gariepy really understood genetics, he would inseminate no one so as to pass on his short, French-Canadian genes, and if he felt the need to offer his seed, he would not allow a French-Canadian woman to be his vessel. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, here is the summation of my investigation into the Mama JF disappearance. The popular notion that JF Gariepy killed his consort needs to be shelved until such time as there is some actual reason to suspect him. First, as a clear homosexual, he could not have mustered the passion needed for a passion of crime since women do not really matter to him. Second, in any kind of physical altercation, it is highly unlikely that Gariepy would prevail over Mama JF given that she is physically superior to him in speed, strength, and stamina, the three most important physical attributes for winning a fight. Third, JF's political commitments, educational background, and racial heritage all make him less likely to be a murderer. If there are any other suspects, the Canadian Mounties would be wise to focus their resources on them since there's almost no chance that J.F. Gariepy could or would murder Mama J.F. You have been listening to H.J. Armstrong. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below which true crime cases you would like to see me cover next, as I will continue to work on these kinds of cases until such time as I have completed my historical theory book. Until next time.